Truth isn't trendy, it's eternal, positioning Israel doctrine as timeless and unshakable. I don't follow the crowd, I follow the covenant. Separates the movement from popular culture. The streets talk, I correct them. Asserts authority and credibility in debates. Israel doctrine, where facts cut deeper than feelings. Appeals to logic over emotion. If it's not scripture, it's just opinion. Keeps focus on the Bible as the foundation. I'm not here to be liked, I'm here to be right. Bold, confident tone that builds respect. This isn't religion, this is restoration. Shifts the brand from dogma to revival of truth.
Peace, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Israel Doctrine. I'm your host, Carl Albert, and I'm here to address the runner, Shitty Blood. I know that's a horrible name when dealing with a biblical thing, but he's called Shitty Blood because Shitty Cuz killed Nipsey Hussle. He's out here trying to kill my reputation and stuff on YouTube. If y'all let him do it, more power to you all, but me, I'm good. So today's title is Jesus Christ versus the Pauline Church. Let the scholar speak on the beef. You were never taught. Basically, you were never taught, therefore, you're trying to have a conversation on it. But what we're going to do here, people, is we're going to put our banner up and allow him to speak. Now, I'll show you once again how I do this, right? So this is Khalil Lamont. This is the name of his stuff. The Way, Non-Christian, Jerusalem Church, Afraid of Solomon, didn't believe that he, whatever that says, didn't believe that he was converted or something like that. I don't know exactly what it is, but that's the little title to his thing. So now he's trying to bring more division to the conversation, which that's what I like. I like for him to identify what he's talking about, but he's trying to get an audience and everything to listen to him. So he keep running and lengthening the conversation instead of saying what he got to say so we can get into it back and forth. He's never going to respond to anything I say, but we know that he watch all my videos. He watch all my videos. That's not even a question. But now we're going to put the banner back up and we're going to listen to him talk his noise. Let me get over here so we can show the length of his video, and then we're going to look at the time. It's an hour and 21 minutes and 1 second. We're going to look at the time it takes him to get into his topic, because a lot going to be talking about me. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I got people doing this, I got people doing that. I'm just doing what I always do.
All right. Let's get this thing started. Hey, everybody, I'm Professor Khalil Amani. This is Khalil Amani's World 100. I'm rocking these are my new shades. I got these when I was in Orlando, don't you? Aren't those a fly ass? What they call these things? Quay. This particular stunner shade is called Quay. What a beautiful pair of shades, huh? They're different from my other ones. Where are they at? My other ones. Which these still are like my favorites. These still are some dope shades, but I'm rocking some new ones. Fashion mixed in with scholarship. All right, this is part 3, y'all. We're talking about the differences and the conflict between the Jerusalem church and the Pauline church. If this is your first one on this series, there's two other parts you might want to check out and then come to this one. But here we are on part 3. Yeah, we are discussing the rift, the gulf, the bridge, the wall between what the original followers of Jesus were doing in Jerusalem versus what Paul would come up with later on. Now, old struggle doctrine, old Israel doctrine, he's over there. I like this. See, it's all about teaching. Forget this ideal of getting on camera, face to face, and arguing back and forth. You get 5 minutes, you get 5 minutes. No, just go on your channel and teach your shit, my nigga. This is what it's about. I mean, I know I can tell it's hard for Israel doctrine to just teach about the subject without taking, personal shots.
That's me. I take personal shots. I don't like, excuse my French, I don't like female men. In my common language, I was like, I don't like bitch ass niggas. I don't even want to talk to the bitch ass nigga. But he's out here trying to destroy my character and lying on me like he gonna lie a good 30, 40 minutes into this, 20 or whatever minutes into this video. He's gonna talk about me. He's not gonna talk about his subject, but listen to him. He said, just get on your page and teach your shit. But he won't get on his page and teach his shit. Listen.
At homonyms, name calling, he's butthurt. But this is what it's about. I'm not with that debate shit. Get on your channel and get to kicking the ballistics. You have all the time in the world. You're undisturbed. And you can do part by part by part. That's what I'm into. I'm not into tongue wrestling and lip wrestling with a nigga over a 7 to 15 minute period, and I gotta shut up so he can talk his shit.
So what he's doing, he's talking about debate. Once again, he claimed that he know debate, but he don't know how to negotiate what he want in a debate. I ain't about 5, 10 minutes. Well, if you're about 30 minutes, put that in the debate. We do 30 minutes a piece. You want an hour? Do hour a piece. Whatever you want. But he, like I said, he's on here crying like a bitch and won't get into the subject, but saying, I'm about this. Let's get on here. You teach your stuff. I teach my stuff. Hey, that's what I'm about. But as long as he talking shit about me, I'm going to talk shit about him because I'm a shit talker too.
Talk your shit on your channel as I talk my shit on my channel. Facts. But he's over there and it's clear that he needs help. He got Hananiah reading.
Now I need help. When it was just me and the queen, he attacked the queen. And he done said on numerous videos, she wouldn't read for him. Because the format that I was raised under with dealing with biblical stuff, and even Jesus set the format. He sent them out 2 by 2. One do this and the other one do that. And they supposed to combine together to make one. So what Israelite or Hebrew Israelite teacher you know out here teaching and ain't got a reader? Ain't you seen the Hebrew Israelites in the street? Read, and they keep telling their reader to read? Because that's the way Hebrew Israelites do it. But he said, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but I ain't supposed to do that shit. See, you can't complain all the fucking time and cry about the little things that's going on. I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, but I do subscribe to that methodology. But you a bitch, you crying about it.
He got that chop mouth woman over there making videos.
I ain't got no woman doing shit. She the queen. She do what the fuck she want to do. And I ain't told her nothing. You keep fucking with her and she keep fucking with you. Sound like y'all got a motherfucking game going on over there trying to do some shit to hurt me. Now, I know the queen probably don't like me saying that, so forgive me for saying that, but every time you look around, you attacking her and attaching me to her. I don't fuck with her like that no more. So why you keep attacking her and trying to attack me as well as why you attacking her? Trying to put us together because you some bitch ass nigga.
Against me about this whole religious stuff. You don't see my people. And I got more people than they got.
And I done fucked every last one of them up like I fucked his bitch ass up. They will not fuck with me.
You don't see Sister Leak You and others out here windmilling for me and talking they
Sister Leak You? Damn, he been watching me so long that brothers and sisters is the terminology he want to use dealing with things. But I ain't.
And trying to get into this religious. You know, I got it fine. I got it handled. I don't need no reader. I don't need no peanut gallery like Trout Mouth. I'm just over here doing the damn thing. Doing the damn thing.
Talking about me.
See the mistake and the fault that people like Israel Doctrine are making in this discussion. I'm glad he's on the discussion. Is that he's trying to use Paul's words to say there was no rift. They say there was no beef. You can't use Paul's words. And then he calls modern and mainstream scholars liars. You can never trust a nigga.
Now, he went to the scholarly stuff. I use the Bible. It's primary. Why the fuck I can't use Paul's words? When he's the one speaking about himself, he want to use some nigga that read about him talking about himself and interpret it for him. But he want to say, I want to interpret the Bible. But you want to read some nigga saying shit about what he read and interpret it, and you want to say, well, I agree with his interpretation, me and him standing together. Some whole ass shit. But this type of shit I have to fight. This is my persecution. This is my thorn in the side that I have a sodomite as government informant chasing up behind me, trying to start beefs and arguments and debates, but he won't just deal with the shit.
On YouTube that calls people who have PhD degrees in religion and New Testament studies and archaeology and biblical studies. You can never trust a person like that who calls them.
Man, I tell the president he a motherfucking lie in his fucking face, Donald Trump, or anybody else if they sitting up bullshit in line. Who can't trust a man like that that'll tell a person when they lying, they lying? The nigga that sit up there and give him a bobblehead, give him a blowjob, you can't trust that. It wasn't man trusting another man that would go down on another man and give him head and shit. Which he's that type of guy. He told Michael Edwards, you won't go out here and YouTube and admit that I went down on you. So what is he talking about?
Liars. Not to mention, anybody who's teaching Bible and they have a religion in front of their name or in back of their name.
See, he trying to claim non-religion. But the question is, Mr. Khalil Amani, change your identity and everything. What is your religion? You're a Kemetic sodomite. That's your religion, yes or no? You're a Kemetic sodomite, yes or no? Because Kemetics are sodomites.
Can't trust them either. You can trust someone like me. I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Hebrew. I'm not an Israelite. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I don't have a dog in the fight. Let the chips fall where they may.
So he ain't got no dog in the fight. He just chasing up behind me. He want to start something with me, and he want to win, but he's not going to win. That's why he's sitting up here. It's already 5:44 in the show. Y'all see that? Let's look at it. What is he doing talking about his topic? He's not even on his topic. He just want to try to cause confusion and try to make me mad. The nigga know I done had a stroke, so he's trying to build my blood pressure up and different shit and cause me to have another stroke or a heart attack. That's what he been saying for years now. He realizing he can't do it, so he keep doing what he doing, saying, I'm going to do it one day. Let's hope your ass stay alive.
But when you are a Hebrew Israelite, a Christian, or an Israelite, you got a position to uphold. You got to carry the party line that the Apostle Paul was in step with Jesus. See, that's part of it. Most Hebrew Israelites and most Israelites, they believe in Jesus. That's just what it is. And since they believe in Jesus, they further believe in Paul. Very few Israelites don't believe in Paul. The only Israelites that I know for a fact don't fuck with Paul are like that brother in Japan, what's his name? Judah Nazareth. I forgot what he calls his group, but they are, Toranites. The Toranites are.
Now, see, Judah Nazareth used to be around a lot. I would ask him to debate. He wanted to debate some goddamn ordain. Some motherfucker that ain't even written in the Bible. I get to debating him. He don't even say nothing to try to big up ordain or none of that shit. That nigga gave a bitch ass nigga debate. He need his motherfucking ass whooped for doing that same thing this bitch ass nigga doing.
Are an Israelite group, and they got it right. I'm talking about brother Judah Nazareth. He got it right. They understand that Paul wasn't shit, and that Paul went away from the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of the Torah. Shout out to Judah Nazareth for having that understanding as an Israelite. But outside of Judah Naz and his Toranites movement, most of these guys like Struggle Doctrine, they ain't nothing but Christians of a little bit more learned order. That's all. They Christians at their core. They know a little bit more than the average Christian because they are invested in trying to understand it. But when it comes to Paul, they must fall back on their Christian upbringing and weave Paul seamlessly into the Jesus narrative. Oh yeah, that's what they must do. That's what they must do. They got to weave Paul in. They got to make Paul a part of the original shit that was going down when Jesus leaves the earth. Now, I want to start out with the reading from a book. I want to read from this book called The Hidden Scrolls. It's by California State University professor Robert Eisenman. Now, Robert Eisenman has been featured on many TV shows, on the Learning Channel, on the A&E, on many of the channels that talk religion. Robert Eisenman is one of the few New Testament scholars and Gnostic scholars who don't fuck with Paul. Robert Eisenman is actually a Christian who looks at Paul as a lying, rat, bastard liar. And so I want to start out by reading just what he says about Paul.
Now, see, he don't have his own opinion. That's why I told you he went to scholarship. He go find a scholar that he agree with so he can know us about Paul and shit on some fuck Paul and fuck that nigga, he's a lying bitch and all. And he do all that shit to the biblical mans that I do to his bitch ass. He want to be like me. He want to be like me so much he attacking the Bible people as if it hurts my heart. I don't give a fuck. You can say fuck Jesus and any motherfucking thing you want to say. That shit don't bother me. I'm going to believe what I believe, irregardless of your blasphemous shit and everything else. But I give your bitch ass a chance to get out here and do your blaspheming and shit. That's why I said what you doing, you just buying time, nigga. Because when your ass dead, it's going to be over with. I ain't got the power to kill your ass. But when you cross the line with the Lord and he take your ass out this world, that's it. I won't have to worry about your bitch ass no more. Worry about probably your bitch ass grandchildren trying to say I'm going to be like my grandfather. Because, see, the sins you commit, you may not have to pay for them. It goes down your bloodline. Like when they was killing Jesus and they was like, let these sins be on our children. And then some of y'all wonder why you over here in America and spread all across the world and all the stuff that they talk about in the Black history stuff y'all do, because your forefathers killed the Messiah and said, let his blood be on our children and grandchildren, our offspring. So I bet you your grandchildren love the fact that you're doing what you're doing and trying to fuck up their future.
This is what struggle doctrine can't do. I want to read to you what he says about Paul. I said the book is called The Hidden Scrolls. It's about the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's by Neil Asher Silverman. Excuse me, he's not a Christian, he's Jewish. Let's see, let's look at his just by hold on. Yeah,
so he's an Edomite. He's Jewish. He want to be like the Jews, therefore he's Jewish. You ever watch that TV show Blackish? They're black people and they're saying, look at them, they acting like black people. Blackish. Jewish mean they're trying to act like the true Jews. So he going to get a pile of shit and throw it on the table. But I'm going to deal with the shit.
The book is by Silverman. Excuse me. The book is by Silverman, who is going to quote Eisenman. Okay. All right. I had to get that straight. I got to get that straight. All right. Let's see. Okay. So I want to read something from this book. I got to get my facts right, Get my facts right. So when we go over here, I want to read, this is a California State professor. His name is Robert Eisenman or Eisenman. That's where we started at. He says, let me see if I can find something about Eisenman in this book. Why let you read that? Yeah. Let's see real quick. Well, I don't see where his name is actually introduced, but that's okay. Eisenman. His name is up there too, but I wanna start. I wanna see if I can find his name. There he goes. Professor Robert Eisenman of California State University at Long Beach. Got it? This is a mainstream scholar that bees on TV. His name is Professor, that means he has a PhD, Robert Eisenman of the California State University at Long Beach. Let's just see what he says. He's got something to say. Yes, he does. We'll just start right here. Since the beginning of Dead Sea Scrolls studies, scholars have been fascinated with the question of the identity of three vivid personalities repeatedly mentioned in Qumran texts. Number one, the teacher of righteousness, the wicked priest, and the scoffer or man of lies. While the vast majority of scholars, as I have said, place these historical figures somewhere in the Hasmonean period, Professor Dr. Robert Eisenman of California State University, sees them as the personifications and the leaders of factions that were in a bitter three-way battle for the hearts and minds of the Judean population in this period. The Messianic movement, the traditional high priesthood, and the Hellenized aristocracy. Professor Eisenman believes, here it goes, that Paul, the Apostle Paul, is the man of lies. Goddamn. Mentioned with such disdain in the commentary of Habakkuk, who together with the unfaithful of the new covenant have not believed in the covenant of God and have profaned his holy name. Goddamn. Just throwing some stuff. Just some stuff. Some more of what Eisenman says. Eisenman expressed it more directly to me when we talked about the passage in the book of Acts where the former Saul of Tarsus was dispatched by the Herodian appointed high priest to Damascus, so that if he found any belonging to the way, any of the people that old struggle doctrine is calling Christians, these Israelites who were called the way, not Christians, men or women, Saul would bring them bound to Jerusalem.
So now, what do it say the way in the KJV? Once again, he's only going to outside sources so he can lie on the Bible. Edomite don't give a damn about the Bible. The European don't give a damn about the Bible. Heretics and liars and people that hate Christ don't give a fuck about the Bible. And that's why he want to bring them in the conversation, because he wants to piss me off. But I don't get pissed about that shit.
The way, of course, was a frequent used term in the Qumran literature to describe the community. What community? The Jerusalem community, the Jerusalem church. Yeah.
Jerusalem. So the first people to be in the church is Europeans or Jerusalem church saying something to those that know something. He don't even agree with that, but we're not even gonna cry about that little shit.
Yeah, just a few things. You out here? Wow.
Showing you how I'm getting back to normal.
It is. I see. Great job. Keep it up. All right. Okay. One more little reading here. Thus, Professor Eiserman has come to believe that Christianity was born as a conscious, intentional, ideological inversion of radical Jewish Messianism that occurred only after the death of Jesus. While the Jerusalem community, the Jerusalem church, James, Paul, Peter, and all of them, while the Jerusalem community apparently continued to insist on full observance of Jewish ritual and custom, Paul, the Apostle Paul, began to lay down the foundations of an entirely different faith. In it, salvation was to be granted not by hating one's oppressors, but by loving them. Not by observing the law, but by faith in Jesus Christ. With the revolt and the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple in 70 CE, the original Jewish Messianic movement, that's the Jerusalem church, that's the original followers of Jesus. See,
I say that he want to disagree. The original followers of Jesus, the disciples, was called Christians first in Antioch. That's what the book says. That's Bible history. But I was a lie when I stated it. No, he's a damn lie because he reading some Long Beach author that's saying the same thing I say. But he want to believe in that author because that author is going to say foul shit towards the Bible.
The original Israelite, Hebrew, or Jewish Messianic movement or church was gradually wiped out. Wiped the fuck out. But Paul's heretical variation continued to spread and gain adherence among the Gentile Christian communities all over the Greco-Roman world. Okay, what a great place to start our discussion. All the scholars are saying what I'm saying. All the scholars are saying. We read in this book, goddamn, that the original Israelites, the original Jews, the original Hebrews, the original Jesus community in Jerusalem, it was gradually wiped out. But Paul was a heretic. Paul's heretical variation, it continued to spread and gain adherents and followers and proselytes among the Gentile Christian communities all over the Greco-Roman world. When you got scholarship on your side, Israel doctrine struggle, you can have readers and windmillers and all kind of people, but they're not going to undo what scholarship says.
Now, did I not have him read a scholarly text? In fact, let me go back to the scholarly text that I used today in the lesson. Let's go back to that same scholarly text. Where is it? Here it is, right here. Boom. So, is this not scholarly text? Is this not a man that wrote a book like that Long Beach guy? Is this not a person that wrote a book like the Long Beach guy? But see, that's why I say he want to say all scholars agree with him. Did this guy agree with him? Did he agree with you, Khalil Money? Because if he don't, you a damn lie. And it seemed like he don't agree with you. He don't agree with you, therefore, you a damn lie.
Rand Spider, Michael P. Barber, Johnny Kincaid. Forward by Michael J. Gorman.
That's who wrote the book. Are they scholars? Matter of fact, let's go some more Wikipedia search and see who these guys are. So let's deal with Michael J. first. Let's deal with him first. So let's get him up on the screen because he act like I'm not dealing with scholars. See, the nigga goes so far to hate that he'll hate on anything. That's why you have a debate so a nigga won't spend all his time running his mouth trying to get his constituent, his followers to do this and that. So look at that. Do we not look like a professor? Do we look like he PhD dude or whatever? But we'll let the computer tell you who he is. Right? We'll let the computer tell you what he is and who he is and things about him.
Michael J. Gorman is an American New Testament scholar. He is the Raymond E. Brown Professor of Biblical Studies and Theology at St. Mary's Seminary and University, where he has taught since 1991. From 1995 to 2012, he was Dean of St. Mary's Ecumenical Institute.
So the man is 70 years old. He's been a dean and this and that. So his book, it wasn't agreeing with Khalil. So now you got to call him a damn lie and say his PhD ain't about nothing or whatever. I guess. I don't know what he's going on and what he's doing, but he's still not laying no foundation up on scriptures and stuff to have a scriptural argument. So
even this book by Silberman, even he mentions that the followers of Jesus were called the Way and not Christians. Now let's get to it.
So who call them the Way? The Jewish people? Who call them Christians? The Gentile people? Why you're not being specific in what you're saying? Because you don't want to have no ground to stand up on. Because you know I'm going to blow the ground away from under your feet. Who call them the Way?
And so Jesus dies and goes about his business. He goes about his business. He leaves the disciples. The original Jerusalem church and the 12, there were 12 because even though Judas was one of the 12 who went and hanged himself or fell down a hill, they replaced him with a dude named Matthias. And so the original followers of Jesus, James and Peter and John and Andrew and Philip and Thomas and Bartholomew and Matthew and James, the brother of Alphaeus. And lastly, no, I'm missing somebody. Matthias, who replaces Judas Iscariot. Oh, and Simon the Zealot And let me see, James.
See, this is why I don't want to listen to him, because he can't put it on paper and even write it in front of him and turn the camera to the paper and go down and show you the PowerPoints that he's making.
The 12 disciples: James, Peter, John, Andrew, Philip, Thomas, Bartholomew, Matthew, James, the son of Alphaeus, Simon the Zealot, Judas, the brother of James, and the 12th disciple that was voted, his name was Matthias. Matthias replaces Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus. And then there was the Virgin Mary, Jesus' mom. She was part of the movement. There was Martha, the auntie. There was Mary Magdalene, some scholars say was the wife of Jesus, and many others. But the 12 disciples, they were there to carry on the mission of Jesus. The 12 disciples: James, Peter, John and Andrew, Philip, Thomas, Bartholomew, Matthew, James, the brother of Alphaeus, Simon the Zealot, Judas, the brother of James, and Matthias. They were the original 12 that were commissioned to carry on the life work of Jesus of Nazareth. And straightway and right away, they underwent persecution by the Roman government via the Uncle Tom high priest that was handpicked by the Romans to be the Jewish high priest, to overlook what was going on amongst the Jews and to take notes and snitch on any subversive activities that may have been going on. On this same time, at this same time, while the 12 disciples, known as the Way, they were not known as Christians. Israel doctrine is full of shit.
Man, it's full of shit.
And anyone
And worms.
And anyone who says that the first 12 disciples that were on the ground floor and the other disciples, the women, those that knew Jesus, if anybody says that they were called Christians, there is a motherfucking lie. And they can't find.
Your mama's a motherfucking lie. Full of worms.
Scripture to suggest that the immediate followers of Jesus were called Christians.
Oh, he wanna put it to the test real quick. Let me show you what the Bible say. Then you can call the Bible a motherfucking lie if you want to. Let's see if you're gonna call the Bible a lie. Acts 11 and 26. I'm gonna put it on the screen for y'all. I love when you try to test me, because you can't test me and I failed the test. It's an open book test, dumb nut. I don't even know how to talk shit about the nigga. He's so blind. So, I'm gonna have a computer read it. So then that way he can say, well, the computer lied. So this is Acts 11 and 26.
And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
I didn't say it, the computer said it. Call the computer a lie. Don't get mad at me. I'm just a messenger. I gave your dumb ass the message a long time ago, and you couldn't hear it. Fight with that though. Go get a scholar to say that that's a lie.
Not only that, boys and girls, and ladies and gentlemen, the Bible gives us 4 books, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, in which there is an ample opportunity for someone to have written down the word Christian or...
No, it's Acts 11 and 26. You haven't read it, go read it, old man.
Christianity. And guess what? None of the 4 Gospels use the word Christian or Christi.
Well, that's your argument, because I never made that argument. Just like you said, I never made the argument that you can't use the Bible. Okay, I never made the argument that Christian was found in the 4 Gospels. So why are you saying that? Any ignorant motherfucker know that.
They don't. The writer of Acts is the same writer of Luke, because the book of Acts and the book of Luke used to be one book. And the writer of Acts, which is the writer of Luke, he waits till he gets to the 11th chapter of the book of Acts before he introduces the word Christian. When he wrote the book of Luke, and he could have said Christian back then, but he didn't.
He do what the fuck he want to do. You're not sovereign. You don't come on and say, I'm Lord Khalil of money. To all my servants, listen to what I said. I know you a Yahweh ben Yahweh type nigga, but what the fuck? Who's following you? Leak you? Them stupid motherfuckers.
Because the writer of Luke and the writer of Acts, they knew that those disciples were not Christians. They weren't Christians. And so I can show you real quick. I've gone over this, but it's good to see it again. If they weren't Christians, Khalil, if they weren't Christians, what were they calling themselves? That's a legitimate question. Because struggle doctrine, he wants to continue the outright lie that the first Christians were Israelites. It is a bold-faced, unadulterated lie. And he got a serious sicko sitting next to him named Hananiah.
No, I got your bitch ass mother sitting beside me. Quit talking like that and trying to attack my people. That's all I'm asking you. Stick to the scholarship. Let the scholar speak and get your dick out your mouth, please.
Let's run in the same place. You see, Miss Troutmouth, his so-called queen, who wants us to debate, forget debate. Just pay attention to the knowledge. Pay attention to what struggle doctrine is teaching, and pay attention to what I'm teaching. And if you do that, struggle, Miss Troutmouth, if anybody does that, they'll see that I'm right and he's wrong.
Grandpa went crazy.
They were not calling themselves Christians.
Who said they was calling themselves Christians? What the fuck are you arguing, and who the fuck are you arguing with? Go find any audio of saying I said they call themselves Christians. I read Acts 11 and 26. You said the Bible's a fucking lie. Stand on it, bitch.
During the lifetime of Jesus, and neither were they calling themselves Christians when Jesus ascends to heaven. When you ask, well, what were they calling themselves? In the book of Acts, the same author of the book of Luke, he tells us what those original people, those original 12 disciples and the rest of the people were calling those who believed in Jesus. And it wasn't Christian. They never heard the term Christian. And they were not talking about no Christianity.
Who said they were? And homonyms and shit. See, this is what the bitch nigga do. He try to say I be talking about him, but you be doing bitch nigga shit. What the fuck I supposed to say? You're a righteous man and you did some righteous shit. No, nigga, you's a bitch and you doing bitch nigga shit. Cause you're putting arguments in the air that nobody ever made.
And so we just need to go to the book of Acts and we'll find out quickly what those people were called. Starting with Acts, the 9th chapter.
Now, the question remains, because he gonna listen to this, what was they calling themselves, or what was the Jewish people calling them, and what was the Gentiles calling them? You can answer all three. If you're an intelligent ass nigga like you claim, or go get some bitch ass scholar up. Tell us what it is. Whichever one you gotta do. Quit crying and running, bitch, please. That's why I don't like doing this, because it upset me when I have to sit up and listen to a bitch do bitch nigga shit. I'm going to call it for what it is. The whole show going to be, listen to this bitch. Watch what this bitch do. Look at this bitch. Your mama's a bitch. She full of worms and shit, all that. I'm going to be very disrespectful.
Let me run through it real quick. I've already shown this information. Struggle doctrine, he don't want to deal. He don't want to deal with this. But what were the people that sat at the feet of Jesus, his original disciples, the original listeners, hearers, the original.
So in Jesus church versus the Pauline church, let the scholars speak. I'm going to let the scholars tell you what they was calling themselves, what the Israelites was calling them, and what the Europeans was calling them. I bet you that bitch nigga can't do it, won't do it. But in my next episode, episode 3, I'm going to do it.
Verse of Jesus, it starts out right here in Acts. We're talking about Acts chapter 9. It says, and Saul, who became Paul, yet breathing out threatenings and slaughter against who? The disciples of the Lord. Not against the Christians, not against Christianity, but against the disciples of the Lord. Who were the disciples of the Lord? James, Peter, John, Andrew, Philip, Thomas, Bartholomew, Matthew, James, the son of Alphaeus, Simon the Zealot, Judas, the brother of James, and Matthias, the final disciple who replaces Judas Iscariot. Those are the disciples of the Lord. Those are the disciples of the Lord. And here we have Saul, who would become the Apostle Paul. He's over there breathing out threatenings and slaughter, murder, and unaliving against the disciples of Jesus, the disciples of the Lord. And he goes to the high priest. And Saul desired of him letters to Damascus, to the synagogues, not to the churches, but to the synagogues, that if he found any of this way. You want to know what the disciples of Jesus, what the original followers of Jesus were called? They were called this way, W-A-Y. Got it? They were not called, it says, if Saul found any Christian, no. If Saul found any of those people who believe in Christianity, no. It says, if Saul found any of this way. Now, some of you may be saying, okay, well, that's just one time. Maybe that's just, I don't know, whatever.
Oh, so is that saying a name or people of this way of life, or they was called this way? I thought they was called the way. That means you sitting up looking at the Bible and telling lies on the Bible. Either they're this way or they that way. What the fuck?
Hey, Acts, same book, Acts 19, Acts the 19th chapter, Acts the 19th chapter, verse 9. But when divers were hardened and believed not, but spake evil of that way before the multitude, he departed from them and separated the disciples.
Now they named and changed to that way. This way, the way, that way. Why the fuck you sitting up just what's their name, Khalil? What is their name? Can you make a offensive establishment of the name of the disciples this way, that way, around the way? What's their name? You making a joke of the Bible because you's a fucking sodomite, bitch.
Here it goes again. The operative word is way. This way and that way. That's what the disciples of Jesus, not the disciples of Paul, that's what the disciples of Jesus were being called. They were not being called Christians because the term Christian had not yet been invented or spoken.
It was in Acts 11. You in Acts 19. You skipped from, I forget the first Acts to that. So let's look and see what they said in 11, because I still got it pulled up to show your fucking deception. You a deceiving ass bitch. Right there. See, Acts 11 come before Acts 19. And Christian, first in Antioch, is on the scene. It's alive, it's thriving, it's living. The fuck you talking about? You an ex-lying ass Hebrew Israelite that can't fuck with me. Stop it, please. You embarrassing yourself. Stop it, please. You embarrassing yourself. The FBI ain't taught your bitch ass better than this. They need their motherfucking ass whooped. Donald Trump, you still got this bitch on payroll out here lying on the Bible? I thought you was a Bible man.
Down at verse 23. Turn the page. At the same time, there arose no small stir about that way, that way. That's the third time.
So that's like saying this way, that way. Is that the name of the people, or they just saying this way, that way, or whatever? Can you please explain that in your next Jesus Christ versus the Pauline Church? Let the scholars speak. And please stop lying and let the scholars speak. You scared that the scholars is too scholarly. It seemed like.
We see that the disciples of the Lord, the original followers of Jesus, are called that way or this way. My goodness. Acts 22. Acts 22 and 4. And Paul is saying, he's reflecting on his days as a Roman puppet. He says, and I, Paul, persecuted this way unto death. See?
Now watch this. Let's see if it say I, Paul. And I persecuted this way unto the death, binding and delivering into prison both men and women. What do it say Paul at anywhere in Acts 22 and 4? You's a lying son of a bitch, because that's what your mama was. Woo!
It doesn't say I, Paul, persecuted the Christians. It doesn't say I, Paul, persecuted Christianity. It says I, Paul, persecuted this way.
It don't say I, Paul, did shit. Quit lying.
The fourth time we see the phrase this way being used in description of the disciples of the Lord. Acts 24:22. He ain't showed, Israel doctrine ain't showed you this stuff. 24:22. And when Felix heard these things, having more perfect knowledge of that way, there it is again. Having perfect knowledge of that way, having perfect knowledge of the teachings of Jesus is what he's saying. Not having perfect knowledge of Christianity, not having perfect knowledge of the Christians, but perfect knowledge of that way. Well, why does the Bible use the phrase, the term way, 5 times in the book of Acts before it even gets to that crazy word Christian? Because of this. Because John himself, John 14:6, because of John 14:6, Jesus calls himself the way. Jesus said unto him, I am the way, goddammit, the truth and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. So the fact that they were called the way, they got it from their leader, from their Mashiach, from their Messiah, from their anointed one. Jesus called himself the way. Not Christian and not the father of Christianity.
Nice try.
Am I winning or am I winning?
Nice try.
We talking Bible, we talking scripture. How is Israel doctrine going to combat that? The book of Acts calls the disciples of the Lord the way 5 times. And they're called the way 5 times because Jesus in John 14:6, he says, I am the way.
Maybe so. You may be correct with that if that's the argument you want to make. But you acting like the Gentiles never called them a name. Which, like I said, the next show, next episode, I'm going to ask that question. I'm going to put it on the screen. What they call themselves, what the Jews call them, and what the Gentiles call them. I bet your bitch ass won't show that.
Coincidence? I don't think so. I think the disciples understood just fine when Jesus was on earth and he proclaimed to the 12, hey, I'm the way. I am the way. I'm the way, I'm the truth, and I am the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. That shit stuck with them. And when Jesus descends into heaven, they began to call themselves followers of the way. Because Jesus said he was the way. Not followers of Jesus, not followers of the Christ. Because Jesus and Christ are Greek words. The man's name was never Jesus. His name was Yeshua. Some say Yeshua. And some say Yehoshua. There's so many variations. Pick one and play with it. Pick one and play with it. Some say Hawaii, Yahweh, Basha, why some shit they say. Every Israelite camp, every Hebrew Israelite camp, they got a different pronunciation of God's name or Jesus' name. Pick one. But the fact of the matter is, Yahweh seems to be the most popular name amongst Israelites and Hebrew Israelites. But the fact remains, you cannot find God's name as Yahweh in any Bible dictionary or encyclopedia.
What are you breaking up?
You can't find the name Yahweh in urban.
Why are you bringing up names? What they got to do with Jesus Church and Paul Church? What a scholar is saying, you got to call these names or these are the names that you did. What the scholar said, who the fuck is backing this bullshit he talking.
Bible dictionary, you can't find the name of Yahweh. In Unger's Bible dictionary, you can't find the name Yahweh in the Interpreter's Dictionary of the Bible. But you can find Yahweh. And so the consensus of modern scholars on the name of God is Yahweh. All these Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahuwah, these ain't nothing but niggas, black niggas, American niggas, trying to read Hebrew and trying to rearrange the U and the A and the consonants and the vowels and go back to archaic.
This what he think of y'all ex-Hebrew Israelites, of y'all modern day Hebrew Israelites, because he's ex what you used to be. And he's clowning y'all ass. He can't even clown me on that because I'm not that.
Hebrew, these niggas are just guessing. The consensus of modern scholarship is that the Hebrew name for God is Yahweh, derived from the tetragrammaton, which are the four-letter words YHWH that make up that name. But the European Jews today, because the name has been buried and hidden and the pronunciation has been lost, they don't even use Yahweh. They use the name Hashem, Hashem, Hashem. In Hebrew, it simply means the name, the unspoken name. Facts upon facts.
I'm glad I'm sitting down listening to
the next time somebody comes up to you and want to call God Yahuwah, Yahweh, or Yahweh, tell them to show it to you in any mainstream biblical dictionary or encyclopedia. And
Cesaria, ISUPK, IUIC, all you One West cats that like dealing with them names and doing that stuff, he calling y'all out.
It would be hobbita, 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 hobbita. They would go all around the mulberry bush to explain why they say Yahuwah or Yahweh or Yahweh, because they won't find it in any goddamn Bible, encyclopedia, or dictionary. I'm giving you what the modern consensus is. It's Yahweh. Shout out to Yahweh ben Yahweh. But here we are.
Shout out to the man who stole my wife and stuck his prick in her mouth and vagina.
Now we know. Now you know. I've shown you 6 scriptures that use the word way. 5 of them use the word way and are referring to the disciples of Jesus, which also proves that the disciples of Jesus, they were not into Jesus worship. They were not into Jesus deification.
They was into the way. Were they or were they not? Jesus is the way, the truth, the light, and that, and they call themselves the way. Sound like worshipers of the way to me. We ain't gotta fucking even say Jesus. We just call him what he called himself, the way. But you some childish ass bitch. I'm just having fun with you.
Paul's thing, the ideal of Christ and Jesus and all that, that's Paul's thing. So here we have 5 scriptures throughout the book of Acts that refer to the first.
You see how he stayed away from the Acts 11 and 26? He wouldn't even go there to damn it or this and that, because just it itself would have cut him so bad. He like, fuck that. Fuck if I go to Acts 11.
Followers of Jesus as being called the way. How is Israel doctrine going to respond to that? How is Israel doctrine going to fight against what the Bible says that they were called? How's he going to do it? How And why does Israel doctrine want to continue the lie that the first Christians were Israelites?
Let me show you in the Bible. I ain't even gonna speak it. Just let me show your bitch ass in the Bible. Can I show your bitch ass in the Bible? Bitch boy. Let me show you. You asked the question. And I ain't even watched this. This just me going through it first time right now. Acts 11 and 26. Let's copy that. We're gonna let the computer read it again. I'm not even gonna say I'm gonna let the computer in the Bible speak.
And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
You heard that? Computer, can you read it again for him? Let me copy it so you can read it again. How was Israel doctrine going to answer to that?
And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
Why did you run from it? I didn't run from it. I ran right to it. Why did you, knowing that it's there, run from it? Neglect the information. Why did you do that, Khalil? I answered your question. Hopefully you answer my questions. Hopefully you play my audio. But we know you're not bound to do it because it's going to be saying, your mama, I got your mammy up in here. I got that bitch, that worm, this and that hoe up in here and all that. You ain't going to want to play that shit.
You see the word Christian in this pertaining to the first Jesus believers? No, you don't. That's why I say the first Christians were Gentiles. Because the first Jesus believers did not use such a foreign term.
Who said they used the term though, Khalil? What the fuck are you arguing? Where's the statement that you keep rebutting and talking shit about? Whoever said that? Through all my years of teaching, I've been saying they called them Christians first at Antioch. When did it say they called themselves Christians first at Antioch? Who the fuck says that? And it's written in the goddamn book as it is written in the damn book. You lying piece of shit. You are your mama's son. That's why you look like the bitch.
Not to mention, we've already talked about the fact that the very word Christian is of pagan origin. That the word Christian was a word created by Roman pagans. That it was a word that was derogatory and negative and placed on the backs of Paul's followers, not Jesus' followers, Paul's followers.
So the 12 disciples now followers of Paul? The 12 disciples are followers of Paul. It said the disciples was called Christians first in Antioch. So now the biblical people don't know what the fuck they talking about. Show yourself, Khalil.
We're going to get to that. But look at what Paul, or should I say Saul, is doing.
Now, why you do the Paul and Saul thing? Don't nobody call your ass Lord Rodney Clark. So stop that shit, bitch.
When Paul comes on the scene, his name was Saul. He ain't got shit to do with the teachings of Jesus. Although he was quite aware of Jesus, he was so much aware of Jesus that he sought employment as a satrap, lackey, puppet, stooge, stoolie, Roman dog.
A Khalil of money.
That was his occupation. His occupation was working for Rome via the high priest to round up people of the way, not Christians, people of the way, not Christianity, but people of the way, authentic and real Jesus followers. That's what he was doing.
Did you hear the author that I had read earlier? Judaism. That was their religion. They was Judaism. And Judaism got a big problem with Islam and Christianity. Islam and Christianity. Because it ain't Judaism. So he don't even understand why it's a fucking problem. And he don't understand shit.
And he was not just rounding them up. He was beating up the people of the way. He was raping boys and girls and women of the way. He was sodomizing men and women of the way. He was punching them and kicking them and stabbing them and spitting on them.
Now, he may know about the sodomizing and all that shit. That may be that secret sodomite shit that they teach in the fraternities and shit. So I ain't gonna argue with him.
He was having his way. No pun intended. I said Saul was having his way with the people of the way. Don't let the book sanitize it for you. I know the Bible has to make things pristine and smooth it over, nice and harmonized, and but when you ain't got no rule of law, you better believe that when Saul would find these men and women who were of the way, who believed in Jesus, you better believe when he saw some of these pretty little women, pretty young girls, and married women that were gorgeous beyond all get out, you better believe they were taking them women and them young girls and raping them. And
what about the sodomizing of the males and stuff? Let me hear that blasphemy.
Putting them in chains and putting them in the back of the paddy wagon. You better believe among Paul's men, it wasn't just Saul, it was Saul and a whole garrison, a whole army of men he had at his disposal. You better believe Saul would say, that one over there, bring that bitch over here to my tent. That little 12-year-old girl, bring her to my tent. You better believe some of Saul's men were homosexuals, and they were like, see that young boy there? Ooh.
No, you said Saul was a homosexual.
Blow that little boy's back out. Can I have him? You can have him. Take him to your tent. The Bible is about sanitization. I'm about the real ism. It was.
Damn, he Professor, what's his name now? Professor Larry, the isms.
It wasn't just that Saul was rounding up the people of the way and putting them in chains and putting them in a paddy wagon and bringing them back.
When he gonna let the scholars speak? Sound like he coming from his own goddamn emotions, his own belly, his own heart.
He had his way with the way. I'm gonna write a book about this shit one day. It's gonna be real gory and in your face.
Kind of like the one when you said you wanted to fuck your mama because she was in the bed riding another man's dick.
But that's what Saul was doing. This is the motherfucker that people like Israel Doctrine and the whole Christian world and the whole Hebrew Israelite world, they prop up this motherfucker. A murderer, a rapist, an imprisoner.
Damn, he got mad at the queen when the queen said Santa Claus was dead. It's funny how he do it to me and the other Christians and stuff, but if somebody said Santa Claus was a molester and all of that and shit, he like, hey, the children gotta have this. Man, Hey, look, motherfucker, I tell you what. Tomorrow's Sunday. Monday, I'm going to do a show and it's going to be over with because I don't want to go back and forth with your bitch ass and follow you in this bitch ass nigga shit you doing. You showing yourself to be a bitch and I'm going to treat you like a bitch and I ain't going to talk to your bitch ass no more. So Monday, I'm going to do my final show. So that's 2, that's 3, 4. 2 more shows and I'm done with this shit. I can't follow this bitch.
Billy and Uncle Tom, Benedict Arnold. Paul wasn't shit when he was Saul. Don't worry, I got a whole series exclusively Jim. But what you need to know, this is what Saul, who became Paul, was doing after Jesus would ascend to heaven. And the writer of Acts and the writer of Luke, someone who they say was named Luke, the physician, he got it right when he talked about the direct disciples of Jesus. He got it right when he called them the way and not Christians, which makes struggle doctrine and the bullshit he teaching straight lies. The first Jesus believers were Israel.
Your mammy's a hoe ass bitch lie. Call me another one, motherfucker. Your mammy's a hoe ass bitch lie.
The first Christians were Gentiles. He can't make that distinction.
Your mammy can't.
If you can't show me in the first 4 Gospels where Jesus actually.
See, now he said, you can't show me in the Gospels. He know I can go to Acts 11 and 26. See, he ain't gonna say no shit that get him fucked up. He ain't that old yet.
Speaks. If you can't put the word Christian in Jesus' mouth, why would you say that his followers are called Christians? If you can't show me a scripture where Jesus says, I'm starting a new religion.
Why Jesus gotta say it? See, he keep putting harder things in there when he know clearly who said it and why they said it.
And it's going to be called Christianity. Why would you call yourself a part of the movement known as Christianity?
See, that's why he don't want to have no back-to-back debate, because I hit his ass so quick and he can't. Once he see that Acts 11 and 26 where it said, and the disciples was first called Christians in Antioch, he can't make no lies up, but he can't run and shit. But you see what he doing? You give him freedom and the motherfucker hang his own damn self.
I'm going where struggle doctrine can never go, because he only has one major source, and that's just the Bible. But even the Bible backs up everything I'm saying. You can't find Christian or Christianity in the first 4 Gospels. The word Christian is only used 3 times, and Christianity is only used once, later on in the New Testament. But notice that the disciples are called the way, and they're also called of the Lord. The disciples of the Lord. The writer of the book of Acts and the writer of the book of Luke and the 4 Gospels, they got plenty and apt time to create the phrase Christian, but they don't. They don't mention the word Christian during the life of Jesus, and they don't mention it when they talk about the original followers of Jesus. They call them the disciples of the Lord, the brethren, and the way. Even Eisenman said it in his book. Eisenman says it. Eisenman says it. Let me see if I can find it again. Even he says it. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Mm-hmm. 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 Yep. I had it marked. Maybe I can't find it, but I had it, but I lost it. Well, it don't matter. We read it earlier. Rewind the tape. You'll see where I read it. Oh, here it is. There it is. There it is. Even Eisenman backs up what I just said. See, Eisenman, Professor Eisenman from California State University at Long Beach. He says, so that if he found any belonging to the way, men or women, Saul might bring them back bound to Jerusalem. The way, not the Christian, not Christianity, but the way. The way, of course, a frequently used.
All right, people, I see you on some bullshit. You only stand on one subject. Let's look at the time. Let's see how far could we go in this. We damn near did 50 minutes, but I'm finna get the fuck up off of here. I'm tired of listening to this bitch ass nigga. I'm tired of listening to this bitch ass nigga in this conversation. So for YouTube purposes, a disclaimer has been up, and this is a copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. And I thought he was going to let some scholars speak. I wouldn't have been cussing the scholars out because they wouldn't have made the bitch ass statements that he made. But tomorrow we'll do 3. He won't be on here, so I won't be cussing him out. So with that said, hit the notification bell if you want notification. Peace.